Peace, love, light, all things good to those of you tuning into Unapologetic Nomads. I am Queen Nomad. Shout out to King Nomad behind the camera. Shout out to Princess Nomad Ayla. And this is my queen, my mother, the one, the only, Miss Betty Singleton of Earhart, South Carolina. How are you today,
Hello,
Mom?
I am wonderful.
All right.
Wonderful. It's a beautiful day. It's nice and cool. It was hot, 106 degrees. Now we're about 80 degrees today. So it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I must say, thank you for that delicious meal you cooked today. It was very wonderful.
Absolutely.
Definitely appreciate
Yeah, she
it.
throws
Yeah.
down, okay?
Yeah.
And all the pots are empty. Everything is empty. Yes, I'm so glad to be back home, to love upon my mother and my father. I miss her
And
so
I'm
much.
so glad to have them back. My daughter and my son. I don't say son-in-law. He's my son because he's family. So glad to have them back in the States. Thank you so much, and I praise God for that.
Yes. Yes, my beautiful mother. And the meal was wonderful, as always.
Thank you.
So, we were just talking, having a little conversation about family history. And I just thought it was so interesting just to talk about this because I just think about I always talk about my great-grandmother, Leslie Lee. Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
And she's the one that raised you.
She's the one
And
that
I
raised me.
remember my great-grandmother. There's not too many people who can say they know their great-grandmother. I knew my great-grandmother. She was a fantastic woman and a businesswoman. But yes,
she was.
she was.
That she was.
And so, and you were born and raised in Blackville, South Carolina.
That's right. Blackville,
All right, tell us
South
a little
Carolina.
bit
A
about
little small
Blackville.
town. A little small quaint town. It's kind of it's peaceful. Most of all, it was peaceful and it was quiet. Not a whole lot of excitement, I guess you would say, growing up. It was the children for us. As we went in the yard and we were playing in the yard. That was fun for us.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about it, and I tell people this, and I say that when we woke up in the morning and had breakfast, we were not allowed to go back in the house unless we had to, do something personal or whatever, or either to get a snack or whatever. We had to stay outside all day long until the sun, till time to eat, something or whatever. That's when we were allowed to come back in the house. It was playtime all day long. It was playtime, and we loved it. And the funny thing about me growing up, right now, I'm afraid of heights. I have a fear of heights. Let's put it that way. But then growing up, I was like a tomboy. I would climb up in the top of the highest tree in the yard, and I was very acrobatic. I would hang down for my legs, looking down with my head hanging down, or I would sit on a very high limb and I would read a book, just sit up there and read. Now I'm kind of have a fear of certain heights. I'm not afraid to fly, but I am afraid of heights.
Okay.
So that was life for me growing up with my grandmother. There was 13 of us in the house, two aunts, and the rest were my two siblings, and the rest were cousins. And we were a big, close-knit family, and we still are today. We still keep in touch with one another. We kind of scattered in the north and in South Florida, down in Florida, but we still keep in touch. And for me, there are a lot of people who would say, well, I would not want to relive my childhood, but I would love it because to me, we were blessed. I feel like we were blessed. Sometimes we didn't have a lot to eat, but God always provided.
That's right.
He always stepped in at the last minute, and He always provided for us. So Blackville, and I still love Blackville. I still go back to visit. I still have family there, so I still go back. I go back to look at the place where I grew up. My grandmother built that house. She and my aunts and uncles picking cotton or whatever they could do. And she was so happy in the 50s when she built the house. And that's where we live. We live there, but the house is gone now, but the property is still there. It has grown up, and we've gone and tried to clean it off at times and whatever, but it grows back so fast. But that little spot of land is still there. And I still, when I go past it, I remember I have all these great memories of my grandmother. Yes, indeed.
Ooh.
She had a business. It was called May's Cafe.
Hey, I remember that.
And it was directly in front of the farmer's market in Blackville, South Carolina.
Yes.
And we would play, we would have so much fun. And I was 11 years old when she called me in, and she needed a dishwasher. I was 11 years old. And she said, it's time for you to come in and learn the business. So I was 11 years old when I went in, and I started washing dishes.
Wow.
And I was there one day, and my aunt was there, and one of my aunts was a cook, and the other one, she took orders, and she added up the orders by pencil.
Wow.
And I was standing by her one day, and she was adding up the sandwich and the soda and whatever it was. She was doing it by pen, and I had already added it up in my head. And I said, that's such and such a thing. And my grandmother turned around, she looked at me, and she said, what did you say? I said, I thought I did something wrong. I said, I just clammed up. And she said, no, what did you say? And I told her, I said, well, I told Aunt Alma that what the total was. And she said, and you did that in your head? And I said, yes, ma'am. She said, okay, Alma, you go wash dishes.
That math boy.
She said, Alma, you go wash dishes. And they called me Harriet. My middle name is Betty Harriet. She said, Harriet, from now on, you take the orders. And you collect the money.
Oh.
And so my aunt got she was upset with me. She said, oh, you think you're smart. You think you're something. But just out of love, though. She didn't mean it. It wasn't anything mean. I don't think she liked doing that anyway. But anyway, I started doing that. I started doing the bookkeeping at 11 years old. I was taking the orders. I was adding faster in my head than they could ask anybody that could add with a pen. And so that's what led me when I in high school to take accounting.
Wow.
And so in high school, I took up accounting, which became very easy for me. In college, I took up accounting.
Wow.
Went to Voorhees College in Denmark, South Carolina, and I majored in business because my grandmother instilled that in me. The business part of me, she instilled that in me. So when I went to Voorhees College, my major was business. I minored in accounting, which I should have majored in accounting, but I minored. And I could not afford the book for accounting, so I would always go to the dorm and borrow a book from one of my classmates, or we would study together. And when test time came, and we took the test, and the teacher came back and gave us the results of the test, and he said, you guys ought to be ashamed of yourself. The only student in here that cannot afford a book is the only one that makes straight A's.
Man.
And I was so proud of myself. I wasn't cocky. Some people get beside themselves.
Yeah, you're right.
But he just made me feel so good about myself. All of my teachers did in high school and in college. And then I met my husband there at Voorhees College, and we have been married for 51 years. Praise God.
Yes.
And I met him there. And some years later, after all the kids were born, now we ran our own business called Singleton Printing.
Nice.
Since for the last 35 years.
Yes.
So business is in my blood.
Yes.
It has always been in our blood. And in knowing that, I think that I have instilled that in our 4 children.
Yes, she has.
Because all four of them have stepped out on their own and stepped out on faith through the grace of God to do something on their own.
That's right.
Have a business of their own.
That's right.
So, in a nutshell, that is the life
Yes.
of
That's
Betty
powerful.
Harriet Lee
Yeah.
Singleton.
Powerful.
Nice.
And she is so brilliant.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
So
Very smart.
that's it. That's it in a nutshell.
Inspiring.
And I still love numbers today.
Mm-hmm.
I still love numbers today. I still love doing bookkeeping. I still do the bookkeeping for our church,
Yes.
for our business, our personal accounts
You
as
used
well.
to do taxes too.
So
for
I
people.
do my own
Yeah.
taxes. I
Yeah.
don't trust anybody to do my taxes. I do my own taxes because I found that people will do things that's dishonest behind your back, and so I do my own taxes, and I do some for other people sometimes. But don't call me and ask me to do your taxes.
She used to do that.
I used to do that, but I still do our taxes, personal
Okay.
taxes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes. So that's it about Betty Harriet Lee Singleton in a nutshell.
Absolutely, and
Nice,
very
nice.
inspiring. I keep telling you guys, business runs in the blood. This is so inspiring to me, and I'm just
Yes.
happy to have been able to grow up like that, being inspired by my great grandmother, my parents. It's just, I wouldn't change it for the world, my upbringing, and I love to go into Blackville. We used to hate going home. Like, oh, can we stay a little bit longer? We just laugh and just have fun and play in the yard with our cousins and walk to the store, get our little money from our uncles and aunts, and go to the store, get our little
That's
snacks.
right.
It
So
was
Blackville, is it like is that like a black town, if you will?
I'm not sure about now, whether it is now or not. So don't quote me on that because I'm not sure.
Okay.
Because like I say, I've been gone from there for the last 51 years. So I do go back to visit. So I don't know what the population is. I don't know, how the divide is in the town. But it's still a peaceful, quiet town.
Okay.
When you go
Because it's
back
called
over.
Blackville, so I would think like growing up, it was like nothing. Because my mind works like that. And nothing, like, it's like a lot of black people there. Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure where the name comes from.
Okay.
Right now, not right off my head, the top of my head, I'm not sure where the name comes from, the town of Blackville. But all towns have originated from something or someone. So, but I'm not sure about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I know something interesting we used to love doing is going to the Healing Springs.
The Healing Springs.
Okay. So what are the Healing Springs?
Healing Springs. The Healing Springs is a piece of property that is in Blackville. It's off of Highway number 3, going out of Blackville toward Columbia, South Carolina. And during the war, the Confederates, the soldiers came through that area, and the Indians were there, and some of them were wounded. Now this is what the understanding that I was told as a child growing up, and you can check that out for yourself probably online. But the Indians, the soldiers were wounded, and the Indians were trying to help them. So from my understandings, the Indians started praying for water. And when they started praying for water, the water just sprang up out of the ground. And they called it the Healing Springs because when they used the water for the soldiers, for their wounds, they were healed. So that's why, from my understanding, that's why it's called the Healing Springs. And people still go there every day and collect water from the Healing Springs. And it's a good, if you taste that water, if you drink that water, there is a difference in the water that we pipe from the earth, from the
Faucet.
the faucets.
Faucets and regular.
There is a difference in it. It's a difference in the bottled water.
Yeah.
When you drink that, it's different. So that's
Mm-hmm.
my understanding of how it became the Healing Springs, and the water still comes up out of the ground. But they have since gone out and kind of put like faucets. Because the water was just running, it was hard to collect the water. So what they did, put pipes in the ground, but the water still runs freely.
Oh, good.
And you can just hold the containers underneath the faucet. But the water still runs freely. There was, and I could be wrong, but I think there was a time when someone was going out there gathering the water and selling it. And I remember the water stopped.
Whoa.
It stopped flowing.
Oh.
And people were wondering, well, what's going on with the water?
Bless water.
But there is a sign out there that says what the water is for, and it is not for sale.
Good.
So God works in mysterious ways. If He does something and you try to go out there and tamper with it, or use it for self gain, you're not going to prosper.
Right.
You're not going to prosper.
Right.
But the water did stop flowing, and I think I don't know how it all ended and how it came to a head, but the water started flowing again. So I don't know if they found out who was selling the water, how it went down. I don't know any of that. But that was the story that I heard. This is why it stopped flowing. But it's amazing to see the water coming up out of the earth like that. It's crystal clear.
Yes, it is.
Crystal clear. You put it in a bottle, and it is crystal clear.
That's blessed.
And people go out there every day and collect water. Every
And we used to
single
do that.
day.
Yeah.
I used to do that. I used to. The distance now, if I go out there, I will go by there and maybe get me a bottle of water just for consumption, just at one time. But I don't go out just to gather it in the big gallons like we used to. But it is a good source of good, clean water.
Nice.
Because as we know in some of these towns, the water isn't so good anymore. So people have, used that as a source of some good, clean, healthy water.
So you said something interesting when you said like the Indians helped those soldiers and everything. Now, in your family, were you ever taught that you have Indian history or African history?
For our family, there are no signs of. I'm not sure about the question you're asking me.
Were you ever taught that you were from Africa?
Well, growing up, no, we didn't hear anything about Africa growing up within our household.
Okay.
We only knew what we saw on television, and what we saw on television back then. Let me say this. Now, we were one of the first families to own a television.
Whoa.
We were one of the first families
In Blackville. Wow.
in our community, not in Blackville, but in our community.
Wow.
Okay.
And others would come, and we would sit around the television and watch TV together.
Now you was talking about you were the only ones that had a television.
Yeah, we were the first family in our neighborhood.
Okay.
Yeah, to have a black and white television.
Wow.
Then some years later, we upgraded to a color television. We were the first ones to get the color television. The floor model, like this. Some of you may, if you're old enough, you know about the floor model. It sat on the floor, big box that sat on the floor, and we all sat on the floor around that television. But the only thing we knew about Africa was what we saw on television.
Okay.
My grandmother never talked about, that we were from Africa or whatever. It was never taught in school. So we that wasn't a discussion for us.
Okay.
So that all we knew was what we saw on television, and the images we saw on television were always the worst part. It was always the worst part of Africa.
Oh, wow.
We never really saw how beautiful Africa is, or was, or is, until we were older.
Okay.
We always saw. They always showed us the worst part, where no shoes, no clothes, the big stomach, the big bellies, the gnats and flies all in their faces. That's what we saw. That's what we were.
The media.
That's what we were shown. And then and if they wanted us to believe that we came from Africa, that was to me that was a way of telling us that this is where you came from and this is where you should be now. That kind of thing, Because I still feel today that there are still people out there today who think that, and they tell us, go back where you come from. I can't go back where I came from, because if you think about it, we all originated in heaven. And we're not going back there unless we live right and do what we're supposed to do. But I think every race of people that's in the United States came from migrated or immigrants from somewhere. You immigrated from somewhere. Whether you're white, you're black, you're brown, whatever, you immigrated from somewhere. That's my belief. That's how I feel about it. So as we got older and we started seeing more clearly that Africa is a beautiful place. But you just want us to see the worst part of Africa instead of the beauty that God has there. So that was it for us, for Africa. Yeah.
Now your family, like your elders, had land here in Blackville.
My grandmother, yes, the spot of land is still there. Like I said, it was right there in front of the farmers market in Blackville. Well, it's still there. The market is no longer profitable as it used to be. I think they still use it, but it's not as profitable as it was when I was growing up, because it used to be bursting with industry and people from all over. I met people from all over the country, black and white. The Mexicans, I met them from all over as a child growing up. Sometimes I think about them and I wonder how they're doing, the friends that I made. And I wonder how they're doing, if they're still living, how they're doing, where they are now, that kind of thing. But the land is still there. And hopefully one day we'll be fortunate enough to get it cleared and to make better use of it, and maybe set up a memorial for my grandma in recognition of our grandmother. So that's what the hope is, that we will come together as a family and want to do that, to try to set up a memorial for her and for the community, because everybody loved her.
Yes.
She was loved. Everybody loved her.
Fantastic. So how many generations would you say existed on that land there? How many generations?
She built that house in the 50s. I'm not sure what year,
Okay.
but I know she said it was in the 50s. I'm not sure if it was in the year I was born or in 54, 55. I'm not sure. Like I said, most of those who know this history are already have already gone on. But I know it was in the 50s. So it would have been just my grandmother, her younger children, which would have been the 3 youngest ones. And then, well, my mother was there too before she died. My mother lived there. So it would be my grandmother, her children, her grandchildren, and some of the great grands were on that spot of land.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And was Grandma originally from Blackville? She was from there.
Yes.
She's always been there.
Yes,
Wow.
as far as I know, she's originally from Blackville.
Okay.
So I don't remember her saying she lived anywhere else before Blackville. So she did have to travel to Florida to work. There were some times when work was scarce in Blackville, she would have to travel to Florida. And sometimes as a little girl, I would travel with her. And it's the funniest thing sometimes when my husband and I used to take you all to Florida, and we would pass places. It was like deja vu. I said, I've seen this.
Yeah.
You know? And so it was like deja vu. And I said, I know I've been here before. And I would get on the bus with my grandmother, and we would travel to Florida back and forth. And some of the relatives down there would babysit me while she went to pick peppers or whatever they had to. When I smell bell peppers, I always remember them being in that pepper field, picking bell peppers. And my aunts and my uncles were there too. So I would travel with her. As a matter of fact, we were in Florida when we got the call that my mother had passed. My mother died in childbirth. And that's where we were when she passed. And then we had to come home to prepare for the funeral. So those were some memories. But sometimes when I do go to Florida, it's deja vu, and I know that as a child, I know I've been to that place before.
All right.
I feel it in my spirit that I've been there. I would see it, and I said, I've been here. You know.
It's just such an awesome thing that a lot of your family now live in Florida.
They
a lot
live
of
in
our
Florida.
family, Florida.
The majority of them are in
are
Florida.
in Florida. Yeah.
The majority of them are in Florida now.
Nice.
Yeah, that was home base for most of them. As they got older, they would migrate to Florida. There was more work there, so that's why they ended up going to Florida.
Nice. Thank you, Ma. That was wonderful. Just hearing that, man. You educated us on a few things and brought back some memories. I remember just being there and just spending time in Blackville. We had so much fun growing up. So much fun.
Yeah, I still love the place, and like I said,
you got to take us there. We got to go visit.
We still go through sometimes, and we ride by the property. I still have friends and classmates there. So, my church, my home church, Macedonia Baptist Church, was my home church, and that's where I was baptized. I was 12 years old when I was baptized. A lot of people say, "You were so old when you were baptized." I said, I told my grandmother I did not want to be baptized until I knew what baptism meant.
I hear you.
I did not. I said, I don't know what it's for, and she didn't force me. She didn't make me. She said, "Okay, when God says so, you will know it." So when God said so, and it was a sermon that our pastor preached that Sunday, and when he preached, there was tears flowing, and I'd never seen tears flowing from his eyes before. But he preached so hard that Sunday, and I felt something, and it touched my soul and my spirit. And I knew that was the Spirit of the Lord that touched me. And that's when I decided, I know now. I know that I need to be baptized. Because I want what he's feeling. I wanted what he was feeling because I felt what he was feeling. That he was feeling the Spirit of God all over him that Sunday. And that's when I decided It's time. I knew that was God speaking to me that Sunday. Yes.
All right. Awesome.
Thank you.
I ran my mouth enough. I think that's enough now.
Yeah, definitely appreciate you.
No, that was good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Mama.
All right. You're welcome.
All right.
Be blessed.
She was really